this day and time in this generation. So we thank y'all for tuning in for the We Are War podcast with Tyserv and B. Lou. What's going on, bro?
Shalom, shalom to the brethren. What up to everybody else? I wonder, can I be heard?
Oh yeah, you heard fine.
Okay, okay. All praise
Good.
to the Most High. Thanks to His Son Yahushua HaMashiach. Happy to be here with my op, Tyserv. Happy to try to help in any kind of way, be of service to the brethren. Let's get
Hallelujah.
it.
Hallelujah. Um, we know that the Most High has given us in His Word that there would be a famine, and throughout history we have seen that where the word of Elohim was basically hard to come upon. Like throughout the Roman times, it was a time where you couldn't believe the way that the Mashiach left you to believe. You had to believe according to the way that they had restructured, you know what I'm saying, the faith. And anybody that was caught teaching or saying anything that was counter or contrary to this new doctrine that they was trying to resurrect, was crucified, was thrown to the lions, was persecuted, was hung on the stake, so on and so forth. So throughout every generation, at some point, it gets a place at a time where the word of Elohim is under such attack where you're not able to readily hear it. You know what I'm saying? Always, and from a pure place where you can really get something that's gonna set you free and make you look more like the Mashiach. So that time is coming upon us, man. We just trying to blow the shofar, blow the trumpet while we can. Let the people know how good Elohim is. Let them know about His mercy, and just keep on pressing, keep on pushing to that day, because the promises that He has given us, we know that they are sure based upon His interaction with us right now, based upon how He deals with us when He wakes us up in the morning. And if you really have a relationship with Him and you seek Him early, how He ministers to your afflictions, to your wound, how He guides your day, how He orders your step, how He gives you favor in situations that you know that you shouldn't have favor in, how He makes a way out of no way. Like when you have a track record of consistently tracking that type of character, it's hard for a person to pull you away, or to try to allow something that would distort what it is that you have gained, the peace of mind, the relationship, the understanding, or whatever. So, man, we got to hold fast to what it is that we know. Continue to press forward towards the market of high calling. I think my eye be Lou. He back on. Back on. He back on. He back on. Not. You there? We hear you.
Yep, yep. I'm here.
All right. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, man. So, yeah, I was just encouraging the people, letting them know that this is a time where the war for our souls is at an all time high. The enemy, he has so many devices at his fingertips that he's able to use to gain our affections. We know the flesh loves to be pleasured. We know the flesh loves to be stimulated. So this is a culture that's full of overstimulation. You know what I'm saying? From the devices to being able to go to amusement parks and to movie theaters. You know what I'm saying? Just constant stimulation. So we just got to make sure that we find that balance and stand spiritual.
Yeah, yeah. Facts. Definitely. Being being conscious of the things that could get you into trouble, man, and pleasing yourself too much is an issue. Um, just the other day, I went and looked up the fruits of the spirit, right? And all of them got something to do with denying yourself for someone or for something else, you know. And that has to be our mindset, is that it's not always about what we want, because what we want could definitely be the wrong thing oftentimes. So
Uh,
yeah.
that's was one of the main speaking points of the Mashiach. Is being selfless, is loving your brother above yourself. These are the very principles that the Most High established the whole foundation of existence on. Was it was through His love and kindness and selflessness that all of this stuff was created for all of our benefits, and all of those that was created for His own joy and benefit. So we just got to keep continue to reciprocate. Know that we was chosen, we was given the opportunity to be in this life. We was given the opportunity to have this faith, to be considered an Israelite, to have this bloodline, to have this knowledge of the Mashiach. This is a privilege, and we should treat it as such, and not allow ourselves to become so arrogant and high-minded, because that's how we begin to get led astray. That pride, that was the first sin that was found the house of time when he began to admire himself and see himself more favorable than the other. And that's something that we see going on throughout the world, continuously throughout mankind, but more so those who claim to be the people of the Most High. Um, first off, being Israel, you know what I'm saying, then other um, Israelites or black people that's not awake. We are the ones that the Most High has put in this earth to be a reflection and an example to Him.
That's
So
right.
we we the ones that got to live and embody this thing. I'm
You
trying to
know,
share. I'm trying to share this a little bit. Go ahead.
like you said about the example, people talk a lot about the heritage or whatever, being the people, being Israelites. That mean that's like there's a responsibility that come with that. They say heavy is the head that wears the crown, right? Because the crown has responsibility that come to it that people that don't wear the crown don't have.
Right. Con.
So that's one thing we should keep at the forefront, you know, and to be set apart is to be, you know, separate from things. So we can't resemble the world, because the world has been given over to the wicked. So we have to resemble something otherworldly, something spiritual, something outside of what everybody else expects as normal, and in these days, righteous acts is what's unnormal. It
Right.
sounds crazy to say, but to be nice to someone is not normal today. To be a
Right.
person who's honest is not really normal today. People are expecting lies, they're expecting hurt, you
Right.
know,
You're right. You're right.
and it's all
Yeah,
too
you're right.
common today to get these negative things, even in our own homes and our own families. We're receiving the negative attributes because it's so common that that's almost the way of life now. The way of life, instead of righteousness, it has truly become anti Hamashiach, anti word, anti righteousness, like through and through, to where you almost get
Right.
rebuked for being righteous, condemned. In some places, they even try to lay hands on you.
You're
They
right.
think you soft for something because you're trying to be upright. Because you know what I'm saying? Oh, that suck. That I'm being all
No, I
nice.
do. And then think about, like, if Mashiach was here, right? If he was walking on this earth now, like, would he be going with what the popular culture is doing? Like, would he be moving like everybody else? Cause think about it, all of the other leaders and those who claim to be leaders of the people, they moved, they demonstrated a certain type of arrogance and like kind of exalted themselves over the people. But Mashiach, he came different. Feel me? He came otherworldly, like you said. He was full of power, full of grace, full of wisdom, but he was serving the people, washing feet. You know what I'm saying? Breaking bread, like sitting with the sinner. Like, unlike the leadership or the current climate that he was in, he did not go with the current climate, even of those who were believers. those who were in the quote unquote faith, those who kept the Torah, those who kept the commandments. No, he came and he did things that were contrary to what it is that they thought they knew to do because he
Mm,
wanted to prove to them that they really didn't know.
right, right.
You know what I'm saying?
And
And
the
that
crazy
brings us
part
to the
about
point
it,
tonight.
the crazy part about that is they feign to be experts or practicers of the law and of the works. He said, if you believe in Moshe and the writings, then you ought to know me. You ought to see me.
Right.
Cause he wrote of me. Everything he was trying to he was giving you about it's me, I'm here. The prophets, it's me. You don't see they don't see because people not they're not in it for the truth. Oftentimes. They in it for other reasons or even unknowingly their their lack of sincerity shows in other ways.
Kind,
You know.
kind. And that go back to what you were saying earlier about how the Most High has to reveal Himself. Like He don't just um, allow anybody to partake in this fellowship. And my best example was in the Book of Acts when Simon the sorcerer had seen them laying hands and everything, and people was getting filled with the Holy Spirit, and they was like, "What is this? Like, what? I need a piece of this." And he walked with them and everything, and then he gonna ask them, "Well, what could I pay you? You know what I'm saying to give me this gift or whatever?" And they pretty much told him like, "You have no parts of the kingdom." Because your intentions and your heart is all jacked up. You've been walking with us for this little bit of time, and you had no idea what we was doing. You thought we was like the rest of these leaders out here doing it for a dollar, doing it for a show, doing it to get some fame, and so that people could look at us a certain way. But we was really doing it because we love these people and we want to see them free.
Man, you know, I was thinking the other day like why we don't see the kind of stuff we read about in scripture, why we don't really see that now with the miracles and these great feats and stuff, right? And I believe it's because we really can't handle it. We would really worship these people. You know, people tried to then,
Right,
but it was
right. I
it
mean,
was
even look at the
enough
people now.
understanding. Right, yeah. Like they worshiping people for nothing, for being good artists,
For
for being
nothing,
good, you know. Imagine if you're going around healing people, like making people that can't walk, making people that can't see. We really could not. We are so we would put too much burden on the people bringing the miracles.
right,
Cause we trying to worship them, we won't let them leave. We got our camera phone out. They can't even keep us. We can't even keep a secret. Like you know, Hamashiach was like, "Don't tell nobody about this. You gonna cause a mob. Like
right,
keep this secret."
right.
Man, we had that stuff all over the internet. Would be
Yeah,
no
man.
secret.
Because in this generation, the men they have a desire to be larger than life. You know what I'm saying? Like even when you look at like Mashiach, how you were saying, like he said, don't tell nobody, right? And even when you look at even just a couple generations back, with the Black Wall Street, how the black people got the land and they built up their own stuff, but no one tried to exalt themselves as the head of it. You know what I'm saying? But nowadays, you got leaders, whether it be in Islam or whether it be in the Hebrew faith or whatever, they get their land and they become the king of that land. Feel me? And it's not like a mutual acquisition with brothers around. Like, hey man, how can we take and build a community? It's almost like, look, this is my vision. This is how I want to do it. Everybody go call it, go about my shots, and that's not fruitful. That goes back to that same disposition that Mashiach came to do away with. You know what I'm saying? He didn't move like that at all. It was like we are one unit. We are all together trying to do this one thing. Everybody got a little bigger piece of what it is that we're trying to do. And the reason why people are not prepared, like how you were saying, is because the leaders just fell in them. The leaders is not preparing their hearts and their minds to be ready for miracles and for signs and wonders because they're too busy trying to get the people to have all of their affection on them. They're too
Right.
busy trying to get the people to be on their doctrine and what they saying and what they selling, as opposed to just giving them the tools that they need to be able to be self sufficient, both financially, spiritually, mentally, and in every way. They want them almost to be dependent on what it is that they're saying and what they're doing.
Because it takes a certain amount of rebuke. How do you make a hard head and stiff necked people righteous? You not finna do that with no smooth
Whoop.
words.
You gotta whoop them.
So
You gotta whoop
that's
them.
not that's not popular. That's not gonna get offerings in the plate. That's not gonna get
Right.
a lot of members in your congregation. You know, I could do a video, man, speaking on certain stuff, man, and it could be crickets because it's not gonna be that smooth tone, prosperity preaching type message. But if I gave that type of message, man, I get a million hallelujahs and shares and all. I said, man,
Yeah.
it ain't
All
it,
that.
it ain't nothing to ensnare people today. Even
You're
in the
right.
walk, even in the walk, right?
All you
Because
gotta do is tell them they the people. Tell them they the people. Everybody else is cursed. You going to hell because you Israel. Make sure you got your fringes on. Yeah, as long as you telling them that, you feel me? They gonna rock with you.
even people that's more honest than that, right? Because that's kind of people who just really just kind of stumbled into the walk, right? But even people that have a certain zeal, it takes you got to hit them with the discipline too sometimes, right? Because even us as
Right.
men, we could get off in certain things, or sometimes even unknowingly. And it take a real
Right.
brother, a real sister, be like, hey man, you tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to do like this, or you need to do like that. You need to check yourself before you wreck yourself, kind of a deal, right? And it's like
Right.
that's what is so unpopular, and even on people that's not just stumbling into the truth, they'll rather hear that, man, all praises, yeah, than to hear that, man, we need to check this, we need to check this in ourselves, so we don't find ourselves messing up. Sometimes that means work. That I gotta analyze myself, that I gotta look in myself, that I got to check my anger, check my lust, check my laziness. And like, man, come on, man. Like I really wasn't trying to hear that today. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Check my
I
for
could get
my
on it
brother. Check my
tomorrow or
love for
something.
the right.
Yeah. That's that's a work that everybody's not wanting to look in the mirror all the time. Now, the lower you get down that pole, the worse it gets to you get to certain people that not only are they not trying to look in it all the time, they ain't looking in it at all. It's all about you. It ain't nothing wrong with
Right.
them. They fine. You going to hell if you don't get yourself together.
And
So
that's the
I think,
mindset of our leader.
yeah, and they could be guilty for that, and also guilty for having a closed mouth towards the folly of they members and not
Right.
addressing it.
Or
You might
vice
be a good
versa
dude.
too.
Go ahead.
I'll say vice versa. The members having to close mouth to the folly of their leaders too.
Yeah. Oh, please believe that. Please believe that, because if you can't come to your leader in quote unquote love, right? Or, care, affection, and speak to them or correct them about something, then you shouldn't be there. What type of a
Con.
person don't want to be corrected if they wrong?
Right. You right. You right,
If
bro.
you
You right.
said something to a leader about something, if they can't face the charges, let's just say it's just an accusation of something you feel. If they can't face it and prove themselves above what you saying, or prove you to be wrong, if they can't do that, then they either ineffective enough to be in the position that they in, or you right and they do need to fix something and they don't want to. So anything other than those two things, you in a bad place. And you don't need to be there because the fruit ain't there. You can pray for that person, you know, you can leave a invitation if, hey, if you ever want to talk, if you ever want to, whatever, I'm here for you as a brother, as a sister. But you lending your ear to that person, lending yourself to them to be led, that's a problem. How you gonna be led by somebody blind? Cause if nothing else, they blind to their own sin. They blind to
Right.
their own mess. How could they help you with yours? It's crazy, man.
Right.
These people, look, I
That's
want to say
why.
this real quick, and I'm gonna let you have it. We applying biblical principles, biblical offices to non-biblical people, man. They coming to you talking about, well, see, like Abraham and like David. You not Abraham, you not David. You weren't raised up by certain people getting certain things, putting you and placing you in certain, places to get what they got to be them. Nigga, you come from what you didn't come into this walk until whatever age. You didn't do until whatever age. We not them. And that's a hard truth that we got to realize that the most high didn't punished us in such a way. It's like he's saying, I'm gonna tear you down and I'm gonna build you up from scratch.
That's
You know,
good.
and that's what we got to know and understand that nigga, we all trying to figure this stuff out. Now, certain people been figuring out longer than others, so they in a better position to help you early on. But at the end of the day, they ought to seek to raise you up to as high as them, if not higher than them. But if they always trying to keep you, the little boy, the little girl, I'm gonna spoon feed you this truth, so you could always come to me. Listen, man, that's dead, man. Go ahead, up.
Yeah, that's the cult mindset, where somebody feels like they were raised to be the leaders of the people, but they don't have the fruit to back it up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, if you are like David or like Abraham, these people that you name it, where is the fruit? Because even when you look at First Timothy, when Paul was outlining the qualifications for certain uh, overseeing positions in the assembly amongst the believers,
Yep.
right? He was saying
The
that
the
these people
bishop,
have to
the
be
elder.
accountable to certain things, right? They have to be accountable to certain things so that we can have a track record that they live, that they move, that they think in a way that's going to be beneficial to the people that they're going to be over. If you don't see your family seeing, if you can't rule your family, how you gonna rule people? Feel me? So it all go back to what can you prove based on the life that you live daily? Like, what does your life prove? What does your life say? Does your life say that that you are like an Abraham type figure in this generation? Does your life say that you are like a Elijah type figure in this situation? Does your life say that you are like a John the Baptist type figure in this situation? Because everyone wants to be somebody that's
Or do
great in
your
the
mouth
Bible, but
say
they don't
it?
have
Or
right.
do
Or do
your
your
mouth
mouth
say
say it?
it?
Period. Absolutely. But yeah, so we dealing with today, man. We dealing with people who in leadership, right? But I got politicians and I put priesthood. The reason why I put priesthood, because these are the people that say that they do it for the people, on behalf of some type of spiritual reason,
Mm.
right? So the politicians, they do it. They say they do it for the people because the people have given them their vote and they're going to be their voice. Then the priesthood say that we do it for the people because something divine has inspired us to love our people so that we can lead them and tell them this truth and teach them stuff to make them a better person, right? So when we look at the politician, and the reason why I don't have any Christian pastors on there, right? And you see, I got politicians and I got like some Nation of Islam. I got Umar. I got you know what I'm saying Dane Calloway because these people specifically are targeting black Hebrew folks. Christianity really it is really like black pastors don't do it for black people. You see what I'm saying? Like they really are more for whoever call upon Jesus type thing. That's their viewpoint. That's their perspective. But the politician and these people that I have on the thumb, the priesthood, these are people that do it because they feel that they're doing it for the people. When I say for the people, I mean black. All right. So, so we're gonna play this first video, and this first video is basically just a quick breakdown of the boule, right? So that we can have an understanding and all of our viewers can be on the same page with us as we discuss the lack of progression that we have seen throughout the generations from our politicians, even with all of the politicians that we do have in office, all of the black voices in the media and entertainment, and so on and so forth, we still lack the ability to gain ground in a positive direction. You know, we still lack the ability to get legislation passed on our behalf, to get reparations, to get, you know what I'm saying, just a fair shake far as justice and so on and so forth. So we are, we have to critically assess why is this the case? Like, why do we sit here and vote every year, you know, hundreds of thousands of votes every time the season come around for elections? You got judges and senators and everybody coming into the churches and so on and so forth, nursing homes trying to tell you why you should vote for them, right? But yet and still every year nothing passed on your behalf. Can I get some feedback?
Huh? What say
I
out?
don't know. I kind of hear myself. I thought I was getting some feedback
Oh, uh, I don't know. I don't know why. How about
it's like
now?
I was hearing myself. Yeah, that's better. Okay, yeah,
Oh,
good. So I'm gonna play this first video. It's on the boule. All right, let's get to it. All right. Okay, what just happened?
I can't hear nothing now. Hello? Maybe I'm tripping. Shalom, shalom, everybody. I don't know if I can be heard or not. What's
Can you
going
hear
on?
me?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. Hold on. me see. All right, let's try it again. Hold on.
Hey, I think when you play it, I mean, hit share. You should hit share audio. You know what I'm saying?
Share audio.
Yeah. When you click share, it ought to have, the little slots up top, and then in the corner, in the bottom corner, it should say share audio. I think at least that's how it is on the stream yard.
This used to be
Pretty much
different.
all.
This changed. It used to be different. Let me see. No, I'm trying to think. I don't know. Hold on, let me see something. You know what? I should have did this too. All right, hold on. We coming back. We're about to bring it back. Oh, come on.
We got audio.
All right, hold on. We coming back. We just having a few technical difficulties real fast.
And this whole thing about you know the black boule. What you'll find out about the boule is that these were protectors to a ruler. So they protected him, which means they was pretty
All right,
much the ultimate. Hello?
I'm back.
Okay. The boule is pretty much the ultimate coons. You know, that whole thing about, you know, the master says he's sick and the slaves say we sick. This is the boule. They do it for that special spot in master's house, and that's what we got to realize is that many people have hopped in this position. A lot of these things with these Greek orders and stuff like that, That's why a lot of these people get the best jobs. Why they get the best cars, because that's the price. That's the price that they was paid. That's they 30 shekels of silver to sell out their people. And not just always in just point blank. You don't always see things point blank, but it's certain ordinances and orders that come from this stuff that people adhere to. It might be, look, you can't hire just anybody you want to hire. You got to hire people who affiliated with us, or I need you to sign certain bills and sign certain laws. Some people say, well, it ain't that. All I had to do was just sign a piece of paper. Got me this new house, got me this new car. But that piece of paper you sign cost your people they life, you know? But yeah,
Oh yeah, we in the ball
we
game
ready to
now.
go?
Yeah.
Let's get it.
Most aristocrats share this common problem, their social detachment from the general populace they claim to represent. At the root of their influence were wealthy whites, and at the root of their feelings about the average so called Negro. All of a sudden turned champion for black rights. The air of insincerity permeated this bunch. All of a sudden turned. With all this being said, there were some who made it into politics without completely alienating themselves from the average person. And Prince Aubrey Mason played this vital role within black communities, being far more well connected to the pulse of the people through the church as opposed to education, establishing a solid base of
So the Boule used education to get in their position, and the Masons used the church. Can you hear me out?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you hear
That's what
that?
I'm saying. Yeah, they are put in these strategic positions, man, to get control of the people. Pretty much to keep the people calm against the rulership, because churches was really a lot of the places where people made certain plans or voiced certain frustrations. So it's like, if you got somebody there to keep everything cool,
Right.
it helped your benefit. So yeah.
Somebody's gonna report to you. Somebody's gonna look like them, but and relate to them, but tell them what you want them to say or what you want them to hear, how you want them to look at the world. So,
Hey,
so gatekeeper, y'all remember that Boule Mason is synonymous to gatekeeper, to maintaining the status quo.
hey, anybody who's ever been a supervisor and had they manager kind of send them out on little missions understands what the boule. It's like a mini boule role. You gotta sit in here and be like, hey, why don't you talk to Williams and tell them, if they don't stop coming to work on time, you gonna fire them or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right,
they deal second and third hand with this stuff, but it's really them controlling it all.
right.
You know, just cause you in that slot don't mean you running it. It's somebody that runs the person that look like they running it. So yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
the indigenous, who weren't seen as privileged or evil. I would often ask individuals about some of the high profile celebrities. So, for example, when I was in Philadelphia, I would ask people, was Bill Cosby a member of the black upper class in Philadelphia? And almost uniformly, these old families said absolutely not. He's an entertainer. So that was another aspect that I found within this group was that they didn't like entertainers. They didn't like people who had made money through sports. They wanted people as a part of their group who had gotten money through medicine, through law, through business. So it was a very, very
Ain't that some nigga shit? We don't like you niggas to concentrate. We don't mess with you niggas because you niggas got rich like this. You know what I'm saying? You can't sit at our table because we got old money and you got no money left.
Hey, that's that whole thing of that's that house nigga stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Looking down on the slave in the field cause he's rougher or whatever. He got tears in his clothes, or he might stink cause he don't get access to the water like you. But both y'all is under somebody's control. You know, it's sickening, man, really, when you look at it. You know. I'm the I'm the master's favorite type of mess is that, man.
Mm-hmm.
This stuff about to get me fired up. Go ahead.
exclusive group, and I mean that in every sense of the word. They were to exclude anyone who was new. And since we come from the DC area, in Washington, if you're new, at least that you have not been here for a generation.
Hiram Rebel line of Harbor, the minister, college president, soldier, Freemason, and the first to be elected. Rebels was
Hey, you got to take yours down. It's picking it up.
ancestors who were Croatoan Indians, and his mother apparently of some Scottish ancestry. He claimed his ancestors had always been free as far back as his knowledge extended. Rebels lived a well traveled life in his early years, first traveling to Indiana to study at Beech Grove Quaker Seminary, then to Drake Seminary in Ohio before being ordained at 18 years old, becoming an AME minister. Hiram was elected to the Regional Elder Council by the age of 22. Quote from House.gov. Rebels traveled throughout the country carrying out religious work and educating fellow African Americans in Indiana, Illinois, Kansas, Kentucky, and Tennessee. Although Missouri forbade free blacks to live in the state for fear they would instigate uprisings, rebels took a pastorate with an AME church in St. Louis in 1850, noting that the law was seldom enforced. However, rebels later revealed that he had to be careful because of restrictions on his movements. I seditiously refrained from doing anything that would incite slaves to run away from their masters, he recalled. It being understood that my object was to preach the gospel to them and improve their moral and spiritual condition. Even slaveholders were tolerant of me.
Bro, you hear this Negro, bro? He said he don't want to. He's careful with his movements because he don't want to do anything to inspire the Negro or to incite was the word that he used the Negro to want to run away or rebel against his master. So he moved real carefully, and because he knew his only purpose was to preach the gospel. Well, if the gospel ain't the power, ain't the word of Mashiach to set the captive free, I don't understand what it is.
Bro, these Negroes don't want an even playing field because their relevance won't be so relevant no more.
Right.
They'll do anything they can to keep the little advantage they got. That's why a lot of them don't want to come together because you're not finna be head moray when all of us get together. You
That's
gonna
facts,
be
Doc.
brother so and so.
Yeah.
So they like, man, no, I like my choice seat at the feast.
That's what I was saying earlier about, you know what I'm saying, certain individuals, like, you feel me, like, say for instance, the Pastor Dallas got all of this land and everything. Instead of him being like, you know what, we're gonna get brothers of different uh parts of the nation to come in and build up their community so that we can have a working city. It's like, nah, this is my organization. I'm gonna run it like how, you feel me? Like, what if the brothers of Black Wall Street had that mindset? You feel me? Then you don't ever get Black Wall Street. Feel me? The success that you had there, where everyone, um, the nation around them was so jealous with the influence and with the success and the wealth that they actually had gained, that they actually martyred. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were actually killed for doing something great, for being great. And this generation is so watered down that people just want to be seen as somebody, like relevant, like you said, and because they want to, they feel like that they have this calling to be seen as this great person at this moment in time. They're not willing to do anything to infringe upon that narrative that they want set forth by other people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And another problem is that it's like, how can you tell them they wrong when the people really do worship them? Like,
All right.
the people really do got such a reverence for them that they ain't no way they can be like, I hear what you're saying, but bro, they need me.
Right.
That's the problem. That the people so non self sufficient that it take a person like a Pastor Dow to inspire them and to light a fire under them to get them active. Now, in that regard, and in the accumulation of things he's done, I give him credit, but my problem really is the fact of people only do what you let them do. The elites, they only control us because we let them, because we feel as if there is no hope. Ain't no way in hell 1% finna fight the 99.
All right.
So
But
just like
that's
Hasatan.
why it's gonna get too late. If we don't do something now, it's gonna be able, because of artificial technology,
Oh,
because of
it's
the robots and all of the other stuff that they're gonna have. They're gonna have the means to. That's why it's like, if the people are miss they season to rise up,
they
because
already
they,
got the means, man. I just think the only thing saving us, the only thing that's been saving us really, is the Most High, because He's got His own course of events that He wants to happen. So that's what we got to trust in, and then live in such a way to be on His side, so that we can be saved out of whatever kind of judgment He gonna bring forth, man. You
right.
know, that's what this time is really about. I know, we in the feast season and everything, and all of that's good, man, but it's really all about the inner man. You know,
Uh,
fruits of the spirit, you can't really see them flat out. Like, it's a thing of manifesting them. That's why they
right.
call fruits of the spirit, of the inner man, that this is his characteristics. Also, the fruits of the flesh is much in the same way, that it is a symptom of what's going on inside. When your nose is running, it's not about your nose, it's about something in your body that can cause your nose to run.
Uh,
And so these are the signs. That's why they say judge the spirit by the spirit. What is the sign? Because this person outwardly is doing all this stuff, then inwardly they got issues. And
uh,
the goal should be seeking to perfect these things as been laid out by Hamashiach, as been laid out by all the people that he taught, of what are the weightier matters of the scripture. You know, I do the podcast Street Talk. I'm on episode 50, every chapter is saying the same thing. Old Testament, New Testament, pseudepigrapha, they all talk about the characteristics, which pretty much add up to the fruits of the spirit.
Right.
Why is this such a common theme? Because this has been what the Most High been trying to tell us all along. We said we don't have a land. We under the hand of the white man. We don't know, from left to right and right to left. But when we knew everything, we still had a problem.
Right.
When all the questions we got, we had the answers to. The problem was us going off, not being upright, not being righteous. So I mean, Dow and all of them, they they serve a place, man. Like the Most High will use a situation for His own benefit, even in a situation that we might think is negative, though. But it's for an example. Pastor Dow, if he wrong, he is a he is a shame to everybody that's right that ain't doing it.
Right. I see what you're saying. So even like with the camps, you know what I'm saying? It's like they serve a purpose. Certain people
Yeah,
have came in through the camps and have obtained that righteous outlook towards their brother. But then the ones who have came in through the camp and have excelled in the wickedness and the folliness that certain camps make, um, ex, uh, you know, bear fruit in, then that person was always intended to be clipped by that camp because their heart was never in it in the first place. So I get it.
stumbling block,
Yep, I
definitely.
definitely get it. I definitely get it. I just say it more from a standpoint of like when you look at the overall viewpoint of what uh the first group of people after the Mashiach gave them the spirit of the book of Acts. When you look at the format that was laid, and even it was they were going through persecution. They were trying to figure they were coming into this new thing. You know what I'm saying? Of walking in the ruach. It was like not exactly like what we going through, but it was. I could see the similitude of us coming into ourselves and back into the understanding of who we are. The same way as them walking into this newness of life of being baptized with the Ruach HaKodesh, so on and so forth. And so when you look at the level of selflessness that allowed the validation of the power in the apostles to be present, it was, when you get into the Acts 2, 3, or 4, it was all about selflessness. It was all about everybody taking care and looking out for one another, no man lacking, every man, what I'm saying, receiving his portion and so on and so forth. And I'm like, if we could just have that heart for one another, there will be a lot more things unlocked. Even when you read it, Acts 4 and 36 and 37, 38, it talk about how the power of Elohim was shown and approved that day by this thing, and the thing was them laying everything at the apostles' feet. So everybody want to work miracles and lay hands and do all of this, but one of the first things that the apostles did was through their testimony, through their spirit, through their obedience, through their love for one another and for the people, that the Ruach had graced them with that act of Elohim, where the people came and trusted them in such a way, where they was able to make everybody around them better. And that's what I look at when I look for a leader that's after Mashiach's own heart. Is him making not just his group of people or his friends, but all of those who call upon him, and all of those are the brethren. Like Paul didn't just go to one or two cities and say, well, this is where I'm going. He went to everywhere that will receive him, what I'm saying, to share the gospel and share what they said he had to establish the order that he had. And it's like, why do we get so caught up on having our own thing, doing our own thing, creating these cult personalities, around us and what it is that we're saying, so much so that we kind of forget what the whole intent of it is we are a nation of people that are facing war of extermination from every angle imaginable. And most of the people that look like us are against us. So when we have people that look like us, that believe what we believe, and who want to build and do things, but they may not want to be necessarily a part of what you building and doing. Like, why can't you come together and find some type of mutual ground about that?
They kind of feel like, you know, especially with Dow, because I don't see him really holding. all the information in. He'll give the information out, but it's like, go figure it out on your own. You don't want to come join, you don't want to come be, you
Yeah, he
know,
definitely get information. The when you look at like IUIC, like they just talking a bunch of bull. Like they not even giving the people what they need to be able to be sufficient and to actually live a separate, set apart life in this captivity. They really don't.
they ain't as bad as ISUPK. ISUPK will tell you flat out, listen, like, you ain't with us, you going to hell, pretty much. Like that's kind of they motto. If you not with us, you ain't in nothing, and you doomed.
All right.
We the original, we the starters, we got the truth. If you, I don't know nobody who that bad. Like that mindset right there is just
That's like Christianity,
completely,
though. Christianity,
man,
Christianity overall believe that. Like, if you're not a
man.
Christian, you're going to hell.
Christianity will kind of let you kind of do you though.
Right.
ISUPK bold enough that they want you to know you going to hell if you ain't with them. Like, for real. they, hey man, it's but it's like, it'd be like, I see that and I'd be like, man, the zeal and the passion and that and that kind of attitude y'all got could be used so much better if it was nation minded and not this this you under me vibe.
Right.
Now, I'm talking about the leadership. The
Right.
average brother in the group probably really ain't on that. But it's been it's been preached through, you know, Johanna and other guys, like, man, like, hey, this is the number one spot. And if you ain't in it, you know, you out of here pretty much. And that kind of takes effect on the other brothers to where they kind of believe it or whatever. That's why I said I'm not really against the regular people in these camps. I'm against
Me
the
neither.
mind and the spirit that's about division and that's about control. Wherever it's found at. I don't give a damn if it's Christianity, if it's Hebrew Israelite, just even certain, just even the terms and stuff like stuff has been made dirty. Like, it's almost, to be called a Hebrew Israelite, it's it's become a byword. People want
Right.
to say
You're right.
nigga is a
You're right.
byword. All this. Hebrew
Right.
Israelite is a byword today. More, it's almost better to be called a nigger now,
Right. You're
because
right.
now if you called a Hebrew Israelite, now you a hate mongerer.
Hate
You
religious
beat your
extremism.
wife. You
Yeah.
beat your wife. You beat your kids. You know, a terrorist. This is all the stuff they done put with being a Hebrew. I'm like, man, I'm not on none of that. You a racist now if you're a Hebrew. I mean, I got white friends. What do you mean? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm not. Where y'all get this stuff from? And it's because of that's what they see with a lot of these groups. I'm like, man, this is crazy, man. But go ahead, you know me, man. I talk
Oh
forever,
no, no,
man.
I was listening, man. You was talking good. You was talking good, man. And I agree. The politicians that we have had since we've come out of slavery, quote unquote. Earlier in the earlier years during the Reconstruction, they was actually making some strides and getting some things done. But then, ever since, you know, certain things happen or whatever in the political system. As you could see, even the Boule was kind of their area, was they wanted to get infiltrate the political realm, because they understood that if they can get in the political realm, they would gain the affections of the people, as well as having to say so and tailoring things to benefit them and their generations. So we're dealing with like seven, eighth generations of people that have that mindset of just using these positions to be able to benefit themselves, and that's the way that the American system is kind of established on kind of doing that. But we are dealing with people that look like us, skin folk, not kin folk, they skin folk that look like us. But
That's
the
what the
whole
Pharisees did with the Romans. That's what the high priest
Yeah.
did.
And that's why I put politician versus priesthood, because it used to be the priesthood that ruled the people, but now we have this democratic republic type
Right.
of model that we are part of is no
And the
longer.
Greeks started that.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Greeks started democracy. You can look it up.
yeah. They did. They started the republic. Yeah, all of that. So we have these politicians now that have replaced the priesthood, and they have been pretty much using us for their own gain. And even now, we have had a black president. We have a black, quote unquote, black vice president. We have had countless senators, governors, mayors. Even when you look at New York, the biggest city in the dang old world, got a black mayor right now, Eric Adams. um, all of these politicians refuse to acknowledge like what black people is really going through. Like they will speak about all types of issues, as far as gun violence and stuff that's going on the border and abortion rights and all of these silly little things, right? But when it really come to our state of being, far as economically, far as just us given a fair chance socially to be able to excel as opposed to the other races and groups of people, like no one really tries to address these situations. We march, we riot, we
Bro,
do all of these things, but nothing ever gets done. So you think that when you come into the place where people say they are inspired by God or Elohim or Allah or whatever they call their God, you think that you would be able to submit and listen, and these men will be able to produce a counter narrative to what we have been seeing the false politicians, the false priesthood in the form of politicians, that they have been like the lack of progress that we have been making through them. You think, with this new group of people that's coming up, because remember, I'm not dealing with Christianity because they don't really focus on black people, but these new group of people from the camps to the Nation of Islam, to even people like Dr. Umar Johnson. They're strictly about their people, right? And but we see the same thing happening with them as we see with the politicians. Like there's a lot of good talk, it's a lot of good rhetoric, it's a lot of good things that make us feel good, that make us feel better. But there is no active, tangible proof that we can actually go back and pinpoint and say, hey, like this is actually benefiting black people. Hey, this is actually changing our lives. Hey, this is making the community become more aware of what's going on against them. And we can say that overall
they
for
can't, they can't.
the
Think
Hebrew
about it.
Israelite movement, we can't overall. But far as certain individuals in these organizations who we have given our affections to, they kind of just take it and built a platform for themselves, and they don't give a damn.
I don't, even like I was trying to think about the fact of even with just regular brothers that ain't got no kind of affiliation with these fraternities and stuff, we still really by and large don't see it like that because they polluted us in so many ways to where even if it's a real brother, he gonna feel like I gotta include everybody. You know, nobody is able to just be for us by us. Cause they be worried what people gonna say, what people gonna do. Like you seen it, we can't even have a all black gathering. Somebody wanna bring, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
we made to feel wrong for wanting for us. To where
Right.
now I don't even think people even aspire to do it because it's just so it's like an unspoken thing that we don't do it like that. So I feel like these politicians feel more empowered to sell people more empowered to sell out. It's like when they started paying snitches. Like niggas would have snitched for free just to get out of jail. So now you gonna let them get out of jail and you gonna pay them? It's over with. And that's what we see. Like all about self. I gotta get mine, man. I got kids to feed, man. You can feed them another way,
Right.
but because this is the most easiest and efficient, this is what you go do. So uh, I was thinking earlier about what is it gonna take, and I've been talking to some elders, man. I've been on this kind of conversation for a while. Like, what can we do to get our people together? And like a lot of the elders is saying, pretty much, we got too many options. We got too many options to do everything but come together. So what it's gonna really probably take for us is to lose all them options. It's gonna have to get bad before it get worse.
I told you, I already know. That's his formula. That's been his formula for Israel since the beginning.
Captivity, destruction,
I already know.
persecution, famine, sword.
Yeah.
It's coming, cause look, all these people got this jibby jab, stibby stab. They say they catch an autoimmune deficiency. How how they gonna make it through this winter? And what if they don't make it through this winter? Where all them bodies going? They can't get people to go to work for 15, $20 an hour. How you gonna get people to go do something with all them bodies? So they gonna be sitting there stanking. That's gonna change everybody's day. What you gonna do with that? This world finna change.
It's
You better
coming.
believe it.
It's coming. It's coming very soon. Very soon. I mean, like sooner than people are really taking it serious because they can still enjoy their modern luxuries a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's like if a person got a little bit of money, there's a little bit of cushion between them and certain hardships that
Mm,
other people who don't have money may feel. But this trouble, this drama, this chaos that's coming upon the earth, your money ain't gonna be able to cushion you.
the big and the small.
Your money is
Man,
not gonna
I
be able
seen
to
a thing in my state. They said natural gas is going up 30%.
boy.
That's damn near 50%. So if your gas bill, $200, it's finna be what? Half of 200 is 100. It's finna be about
350.
$70 more. 70, $80 more. This a lot of people check the check right now. You
Right.
know, don't have your whole house in gas, your heat and your stove. Oh man, it's finna get tight.
It's gonna get tight,
Finna
boy.
get tight. Hot water heater don't have no gas. Hot water heater.
Ah, yeah.
Man, and electric is going up.
Look, you know me, boy. I'm too. Look, I'm about to give me another. Solar
A
generator.
generator.
About to give me another one. I don't play around. Them solar generators, but, bro.
Hey, I ain't
Because
gonna lie. That might overall throughout the whole winter. We got about a good what 4, 5 months of winter. That might be the best bet.
yeah,
Get one of them nice little generators, man,
it is,
because
bro. You gotta have the solar generator, bro, because if everything shut down and you just run it off a generator, then you got a gas generator. You gotta keep trying to go get gas and nah, hecky nah, bro. I need everything. I hook that solar panel up, sit it right outside the window, get the direct sunlight, and shoot, 7 hours later that thing filled.
I know. I seen that thing. I used to put it to work. Nice little generator. I was like, man, I need to get me one of these things, man.
Yeah, I want one for both households. You know what I'm saying? The Wild's household and the highest. Sure.
Man,
But,
hey, you got to live like you got twins.
right.
Yeah, two pairs of shoes, two coats. Man,
Let's get back to the
hey,
video.
all praise. Let's do it. Let's get it.
Despite his cautiousness, Revels was imprisoned for preaching to the black community in 1854. Upon his release, he accepted a position with the Presbyterian Church in Baltimore, Maryland, working alongside his brother Willis Revels, also an AME pastor. Hiram Revels was the principal of a black school in Baltimore and subsequently attended Knox College in Galesburg, Illinois, on a scholarship from 1855 to 1857. He was one of the few black men in the United States with at least some college education. When the Civil War broke out in 1861, rebels helped recruit two black regiments from Maryland. In 1862, when black soldiers were permitted to fight, he served as the chaplain for a black regiment in campaigns in Vicksburg and Jackson, Mississippi. In 1863, rebels returned to St. Louis, where he established a freedmen's school. At the end of hostilities, rebels served in a church in Leavenworth, Kansas. While traveling to Kansas, Rebel and his family were asked to sit in the smoking car rather than the car for first class ticket holders. Rebels protested that the language in the smoking car was too coarse for his wife and children, and the conductor finally relented. Rebel served in churches in Louisville, Kentucky, and New Orleans, Louisiana, before settling in Natchez, Mississippi in 1866. Before the Civil War, fewer than 1,000 free black Mississippians had access to basic education. Thus, leadership from freedmen such as rebels became vital to the Republican Party for rallying the new electorate in the post war years. It was through his work in education that rebels became involved in politics, taking his first elected position as a Natchez alderman in 1868. He entered politics reluctantly, fearing racial friction and interference with his religious work. But he quickly won over blacks and whites with his moderate and compassionate political opinions. In 1869, encouraged to run by a friend, future Representative John Roy Lynch, rebels won a seat in the Mississippi House Senate. Under the newly installed Reconstruction government, Rebels was one of more than 30 African Americans among the state's 140 legislators. Upon his election, he wrote a friend in Leavenworth, Kansas, "We are in the midst."
Hey, you hear that? You hear how many weeks? 148 congressmen, statesmen between House of Representatives, Senate, state representatives. They had 140. I think that's more than they got now.
I ain't even hip hop. I really, I didn't pay attention in social studies like that. I don't know. Help me out. Take me down
Nah,
through there.
nah. I'm just saying, like that was like right for that to be the case right after slavery. Like our people had some serious momentum coming out the gate, but the the Supreme Court was the ones who stifled that progress. And that's a whole nother podcast. But when they begin to redline and rezone districts and make it so that black politicians could get voted, and along with certain southern states that pretty much just started killing and banning their black politicians from running. It was like a brutal overthrow of this reconstructive
Right,
statesman.
right, right.
You know what I'm saying? That you see all of these statesmen, it was like a brutal overthrow. But yeah, let's get back to it. We got about 5 minutes left.
Exciting canvas. I am working very hard in politics as well in other matters. We are determined that Mississippi shall be settled on the basis of justice and political and legal equality. A little known politician, Rebels attracted the attention of fellow legislators when he gave a moving prayer on the opening day of the session. With mixed results, Rebels also promoted Black American civil rights by less conventional means. In May 1870, he startled the military establishment when he nominated Black candidate Michael Howard to the U.S. Army Military Academy at West Point, a long bastion of Southern white gentlemen. Rebels knew Howard's parents, former slaves, and Howard's father had served in the state legislature. Critics claimed rebels callously and publicly humiliated the youth, who had little formal education and was not admitted to West Point. And supporters claimed the school's administration's prejudice had blocked Howard's entrance. Additionally, Revel successfully appealed to the War Department on behalf of black mechanics from Baltimore who were barred from working at the U.S. Navy Yard in early 1871, an accomplishment he recalled with great pride. End quote. Rebels lived in the spotlight for
Hey,
several decades, acquiring status and influence. But over his time in politics,
uh,
Yeah, yeah.
I want to point something out, because that's what get a lot of people tricked is by people accomplishing little small stuff like that, you know. And be like, see, he is for the people. Look what he did. He got them brothers a job at the shipyard.
Right.
It's like, man, we need matters of real substance. If he would have went and started his own shipyard, then we can say something. Like, we gotta stop being happy with little tidbits. And like we want the whole pie, not the crumbs off the pie.
Right.
Happy with somebody because they gave you crumbs. Go ahead out.
I was like, yeah, they give us little honorary trinkets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No real ground is gained.
And like our people be eating it up. Eating it up. See, look, like Obama. People tell you this man stats one of the worst presidents in the history of presidency. What you mean? What you mean? What do you mean? Look at what this man did. This man that got Gaddafi killed over here. You know, he was the president when that happened. This man passed all these gay laws, gay marriage, and had the gays in the females bathroom and all this stuff with the transgenders and stuff, man. Like come on, man. We
Gay
gotta stop,
marriages.
man. Wife could be a man, all this whole type of stuff. And it's like they would have said, well, they got a nice family. They made the White House look cool and all this stuff. Like, what are your values? What really are your standards
Well, they say,
that
well,
this kind of stuff move
I
you?
don't look for my president for moral values. I look for him to lead the country. How can you
Man,
lead the country without moral values? You ingrate.
look, this man had at the height of all these unarmed black killings, he was the president. He ain't said a word. The closest he came to saying something was with the whole what's the thing? St. Louis Mike Brown things. I'm gonna order an eternal investigation and all this whole stuff into the book. That ain't nothing.
Right.
They
Yeah, he was real quiet on them things. He definitely was.
It's small stuff like that, man. And we be so happy with just little trinkets. That's why and the most high is so kind and all this stuff that he made it so nasty, so putrid that we ought to be looking at this stuff and be disgusted and seek the only one that truly can save us, man. It's him.
Right.
Not these little toy soldiers that people give us and all this whole stuff. These damn, you know, um undercovers pretty much bought and paid for
Agent
bootleg,
Chaos.
man. Yeah, man. Like if people don't really like, a real revolutionary ain't got no regard for the system he's against.
And that's what I was saying about your house shot. If he was here on Earth, how would he be? He would be moving like a revolutionary. Like they would label him an extremist. He would
Facts.
have a target on his
Especially
back.
now.
Yeah.
Especially now. You can't talk about them elders like that. What they wrong though? They going against my father. What he ordained?
Right.
That ain't got nothing to do with their eldership and respect and all that. No, this is you. You are wrong.
Right. Imagine him being in the Vatican, pissing in a holy water.
Man, man.
Yeah, I'm saying
They
straight
wouldn't. They wouldn't know how to take it.
kicking over Mary's statue. You know what I'm saying? That false Mary statue, Ishtar statue, like all of that, man. Knocking the priest head, the Pope head off his head, like.
I saw this one video. This black dude. I don't know how he got that close to this preacher, man. He snatched his chain off. So I was like, man, give me this, man. What you doing in here, man?
Oh
It was
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
a
They
native
they said
dude or
they said
something.
it, they said that was a setup. That was an insurance scam, dude. That pastor, he's shady, man.
Oh
He's shady.
no, I'm talking about something
He
else. This was in the
oh
Catholic Church. I know what you talking
okay.
about though. I
Yeah,
saw that
yeah.
too. But it was this other video of like some dude. I don't know why he was up in the pulpit, but he came up there and he like snatched dude chain. I want to say that he like closed up a Bible or something. It was just real disrespectful to the person who was up there, and he walked off like, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, that's
Man.
what that's what we really. All the great people in the scriptures rose up and destroyed anything that wasn't like the Most High. All the idols, all the temples, all the kings who was pleased with the Most High. That's what they did. It said, and they tore down all the temples of Baal. They tore down all the idols. That's what it take. We can't
But it's
call
got to start
ourselves.
inside your own heart, though. That's the problem. Is we see it's like a backwards thing. It's like everybody want to tear down the idols of the Christian church and Islam and this and that, but you got all of these idols inside of your heart. So
Inside.
that
That's facts.
when you go forward, you know what I'm saying, to try to speak on behalf of the Most High, when tearing down these things, you can't do it under the unction of the Ruach in which He's doing it in this dispensation because you haven't really dealt with your own issues.
That's right. That's fact. That's the spiritual stuff. That's the unclean things that's in the temples that have to be swept out and cleaned out. You right?
Con. Con. But yeah, all right, man. I gotta we're about to wrap this podcast up, man. It's been a beautiful night, and I appreciate everybody tuning in that did. But we gotta get to it. I got my babies in the morning. I'm grateful that the Most High has given me the opportunity to even just speak His word and to just be a man in this final hour, to just embody like love and brotherhood and just being someone that's genuine and not pretentious, or trying to get people to see them a certain way. Just being myself and letting the chips fall where they may. If you don't like us for who we are, well,
Oh well. Somebody do.
somebody do. I know somebody that like it. But yeah, man. So any last things you wanted to say, B?
Nah, man. Just stay righteous. Stay set apart. Get them fruits of the spirit. Fruits of the Ruach. That's what it's all about. Them your keys to salvation.
That it is. That it is, man. So let's embody the word, man. Let's love our brother. Let's look out for those of the household of faith and all of those who the Most High break across your life. For you to be an intercessor for you to impart some words of wisdom, for you to be a living epistle to. Be open for them moments. Because sometimes you may not have to do it over the internet. You may not have to stand on the corner. You may not have to make a song about it. You may just have to be a friend. You may just have to be ear to listen. You may just have to help somebody change a tire, give somebody some gas money, give somebody, you just have to be open to the unction of the Ruach. So we thank y'all for tuning in. I pray that the Most High continue to bless the set apart remnant of Yasharal and all of those who call upon His name with a pure heart. To the stranger that's cleaved, to Yaakov that are seeking after the Mashiach and looking for His eternal resurrection. Man, blessings and peace be unto all y'all. And This is We Are War Podcast. Let's go.